Right.
All right, yeah, let's introduce ourselves. My name's DJ Old, and this is Mr. Fogey. No, seriously, I'm sure you know our ugly mugs by now. Krome Time. Just putting a little message out there that we're putting a little package together. Time?
Yes, hello, my name is Mr. Time, and yes, this is Krome Time. Come to talk about our new little album coming out, Anthology. All the classic tunes for all the classic people, old and young, and we are totally thrilled about this. We are really happy about it.
Yeah, it's about putting all our old tunes basically into one place. Nice little box set, 5-piece vinyl. But we know some of the tunes have been out recently, so we've dug deep into the archives to dig out some unreleased mixes, some VIP mixes, some in-demand mixes as well.
And we've done some little re-edits as well on some of the production, so
and also,
you're going to get value for money.
A couple of tunes that under a different name called Higher Level, what we've done on Zodiac Records, which is like a sister label to Terry Vinyl back in the day. That's currently going for £300 a go on Discogs at the moment, so a little surprise in there for you as well.
Yeah, Zodiac kind of like had a lot more piano stuff,
yeah.
A lot of melodic stuff, but still mixed with the hard drums that you'd get in the jungle, so it's a bit of a contrast,
yeah,
because you could bring the two together quite easily, and it worked well at the time. You know?
It's quite unique because you had the jungle, you had the hardcore, but the ones on Zodiac were pretty much 50-50. Drum and bass and hardcore together, you know. Yeah. It was a good little label. Done a few tunes on there, and like I say, one of them at the moment is well in demand. Well,
Terran Vinyl was it's just an evolution from acid house, through hardcore into jungle, and it was a jungle label, and we just experimented with samples and reggae samples, chopped up beats, chopped up amens. And we just wanted something to make music for people to jump up to, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? To tear up the dance floor.
Also, just put out whatever we wanted to put out. Basically.
Yeah.
It was our thing. It was our label, our music.
It didn't really have any real direction. We were just doing what came out of us at the time. And because we were ravers and we was out raving all the time, we were just kind of reflecting what was going on the dance floor and doing that in the studio. So. That's how that came out. But
yeah, I mean, basically that's all our tunes we've ever made. We've made from a raver's point of view, because basically we were ravers, It's what got us into DJing, and well, we was doing a DJ and hip hop MC thing before, but production-wise, come from the raving, the acid house days. It was like amazing, and we just grew from that, the hardcore and the jungle.
Where we are here now, where we're sat, if you kind of pointed just over there. There's a place called Dungeons, and it's just up the Leabridge Road, and that was one of our favourite haunts back in the day. We used to see Adamski in there, saw Seal in there for the first time.
Genesis, just up the road there.
Genesis, the first warehouse rave was just over that way. So I mean, we're in an area here that's like...
we were surrounded by when it was growing.
Yeah, it's like the foundation, Brockies from around here, Det, Hype, Ragged Twins, like so many people. And so we was just going to these raves here and being inspired, and that was taking that inspiration into the studio and creating a vibe, and that's kind of where it all came from. It's going out raving, because it was so unique at that time as well, and that rave scene was it was the first thing where so many people were so together at the same time. It was just unbelievable, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it was inspiring.
I mean, people see Krome Time as, the hardcore, junglists and all that, but we're just as much house heads as well, because that's where we started,
Yeah.
We started in the raves,
in
the warehouses,
acid house, yeah.
On the fields, that's where we started. That's where everything grew from. So, we love it all.
Yeah, it's an evolution, man. It's an eclectic evolution of sound, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to go to school called Brookhouse in Hackney. Mr. Time went to Upton House, but they merged, and they merged into a school called Homerton House. I come over from Brookhouse, 13, 14, ended up same class as Bernard, and we just clicked. Friends. Yeah,
we just clicked, because he only lived a couple of roads up from me as well, so it was literally 4 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So like we was walking home from school together, and we was both into sound system as well. You know, we used to have dances at Upton House, like Saxon, you know, would come down, you know, Gem and Magic, you know, all kinds of different sounds. And so we got into the sound tape thing, getting the, you know, the TDK tapes with the sound system on it. And them tapes are sought after, innit? If you've got a new tape, everyone would want to hear it, everyone would want to record it.
And that's where the MCing from the jungle scene comes from, the old sound system. Right?
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
Yeah. And the beeline and the jungle, really.
Yeah.
But that went from the sound system, went hand in hand with the hip hop at the time, you know, not 80s hip hop, Eric B and Rakim, KRS-One, you know, all those guys, you know what I mean, Def Jam Records. And we was buying a lot of vinyl, and we decided we wanted to be a little DJ MC. I used to chat some lyrics, he was on the decks. We used to do some rough little demos onto tape, which, I mean, one time we took one to Trevor Nelson, who works in a record shop in Hackney. You probably won't remember, but he said it was right, and he GM, yeah.
And my first 2 decks didn't even have speed control, so that's how I had to literally find 2 tunes that were the same BPM.
Yeah.
But it was all fun. It was all fun.
Yeah. That was just like just us experimenting at the time, and you know, then one day in '87 or whatever it was, we heard an acid house tune from Trax record, and that was it. It was completely transformation.
Yeah.
Just threw you into another zone, and then everything that was going on, because, you know, a lot of people discovered this sound at the same time, and obviously, you know, there was little stimulants being added to the system to aid with this sound, and it was an absolute revelation, man. You know what I mean? And that was it. We just went head first into it. We wanted to rave to it, dance to it, go to it, and then we wanted to make it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I call it the acid ash tree. When you talk about rave, I'll call it the acid ash tree, because acid house back in the day was the tree, and off of that tree you had a hardcore branch, you had a jungle branch, you had a UK garage branch.
You had a house branch,
all stems from that acid house days, you know what I mean?
The TB 303, man.
Yeah. I mean, Fantasy was our first big break kind of thing, you know, from just doing little basement pub do's and little warehouse do's or squats and things like that. Fantasy FM come along, and it was like, that was the first big thing to push us out there, you know? Yeah,
because they did a night at the Astoria, which was just a massive,
night,
massive. First time we played in front of crowds like that.
But also, Fantasy was how we linked up with Suburban Base. They used to come out of a tower block in Stratford, and at the bottom was a shop which was owned by Dan Donnelly's mum and dad, who owned Suburban Base. And we got
Who's Dan Donnelly?
We were talking to mum and dad. We were friends with them. We used to get drinks and stuff before doing our shows and that. And then they got it out of us one day. What are you doing in there? Come on, we know you're doing that. We told them it's music and all that, and went, oh, our son's into that. And basically, that's how Krome Time and Suburban Base linked up, you know.
Yeah.
Through Fantasy FM again, you know, same linked from the acid house days.
And that gave us a chance to network with other people like DJ Hype as well, you know, and all the other DJs that were on there. They were kind of at the beginning of something as well, you know, so it was a good time. The guy that ran it, Foxy, he was a character, and it was good. It was going out to the whole of London, you know what I mean, getting that feedback, people phoning in for requests and say shout outs and all that. It was a really good, and I mean, because there was like old school telephone, no smartphone and all that, it was organic. Pager, yeah. It was organic. It was like really kind of felt natural.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you think about Kiss FM, I mean, that used to be a pirate station. A lot of the pirate stations have gone legal now, because I mean, just because they got so big, even Centre Force now, you know, these stations, they all started off as pirates, but because they're so popular, you know, they're able to go and transition to become a legal, you know, outfit, and that's good. You know what I mean?
You know, we was working on a tune, and that's when I was speaking to Dan Donnelly's mum and dad, and they said that he had a record label we wanted to start. So then we met up, decided our first tune that we was making was going to be Suburban Base's first release, and you know, it all come about like that. It's funny how it works, because it's all just right place at the right time, you know, at the moment. Like, if Fantasy was in a different place, then that wouldn't have happened, would it? You know? So it's simple.
The thing is, at that time as well, we were learning, because obviously we were new to production. You know, we were just making it up as we went along, and there's a guy called Big John. Oh, he's dead now, bless his soul. But he used to give me a lot of advice and information about how to use Cubase and stuff. But at that time as well, we were spending a lot of time with the scientists in Kicking Records studio. I was learning a lot from him about synthesizers and, you know, sequencing and just seeing stuff we've never seen before. So like them times there, it was like a good grounding, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was an unbelievable feeling to actually put a record out after years of having it in your head, you know, so
yeah.
From the hip hop days and all that. To actually get a record out was amazing.
Yeah, and that's why you hear a lot of our stuff. You always hear the rap samples, the reggae samples, reggae bass. You know what I mean? You know, just those vibes of breakbeat. We always encompass that in our sound because that's where we're coming from. You know what I mean? And James Brown as well. James Brown, who's my all-time music idol, because it could be argued that if there was no James Brown, there'd be no hip hop. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I discovered a lot about 70s funk and all that listening to hip hop, because then when you realise there were samples, you wanted to know where that sample come from. Then you found that original tune, and then you opened up a whole new world of music. You know what I mean? So kind of took inspiration from all that.
The first tune we done was The Rush, and it was an unbelievable feeling to have that out. Like I say, from years of having tunes in your head, to have one physically out and see it getting dropped at raves and played on the radio, it was just amazing.
Yeah, no, it was a buzz. It was a buzz. The age we was at as well, obviously, at that time you're just thinking, you know, you're going to go out, you're going to get a job, you're going to do whatever. But that actually gave us an idea that we could probably go and do something a bit special, you know what I mean, something a bit different. And it weren't long after that we was travelling up and down the country and across the world playing music, and so it kick-started everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's an amazing feeling when you walk in a rave and, you know, you hear your tune get dropped and everyone goes crazy. It's just like, you have to take a moment and think, oh, yeah, this is ours.
Yeah. No, you're doing something. You're moving people, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you move, if you can move people, a lot of people at the same time, you're doing, and especially in a positive way. That can't be a bad thing. I mean, it's priceless. You can't buy that. You know what I mean? And I mean, I could live off of that. I could dine off of that forever. You know what I mean? Just that, and there's been lots of moments like that.
When I was on Fantasy, when I first started, I'd done what they call the graveyard shift, which is basically midnight to about 5, 6 in the morning. And I didn't know at the time, but then a guy got in touch with me who thanked me basically because he was going through cancer treatment. And during this treatment, it was giving him insomnia, couldn't sleep. So he found me on the radio, and basically I helped him through that time of his life, you know, and that was amazing to hear. Like, it was absolutely like, guys out there, you know, got cancer, and I'm helping him. You know, it's an amazing feeling. No, it is, and I mean, yeah, but it still happens now. People come up and say the Slammer or whatever tune was a great tune, and to be quite honest, it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel good, and all I feel is that, you know, if you've contributed a little bit towards popular culture, then that's a good thing, you know what I mean? And again, it's moving people in a positive way, you know. There's people out there that's been inspired by us, more than we probably know, to be quite honest, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it still amazes me when I get asked to sign a record. Yeah, it's like, what? Sure, you want me to sign it? But to that person, you know, they grew up listening to that tune, and to them it's special, you know, so. It's massive. Yeah, this guy, it was his birthday, and my mate said to me how much he loved us. So I sent him a sample from the Slammer, innit, of the vocal on its own, just a snippet, and I said, send that to his phone, innit. And it's like, Geezer was like in bits, so you could believe it. Like, I mean, so. Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. Like, music's so powerful, you know what I mean? Music's like, you know, it just does things to people. You know, it moves them. It's emotional. It's everything. So it's an amazing feeling when someone comes up and says, you know, oh, that tune, oh man.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, back then as well, it was so much about feeling good as well, because people would come out. You know, obviously the 1980s was hard. You know what I mean? I think there's recession and stuff, and there's weren't a lot of work, UB40 and all this. And like when that came, everyone needed that then. Everyone needed that summer of love, 1988.
Oh, yeah, it went from people getting glassed and bottled to cuddles. You know?
Yeah, you
can't get a bigger turnaround than that.
It's amazing. You see proper opposing gangsters in the same building, sweating it out, and just no bad vibes. You know what I mean? And that was good. In the first lockdown, I was in a bit of a messed up situation because I was looking after my sick mum, and I found myself listening to a lot of lo-fi music, which that seemed to get really popular at the time. But it's kind of like, that's like hip hop, really crunchy kind of organic hip hop music. That carried me through, and amongst other things, like, you know what I mean, like the house music, and I just found myself being eclectic and just kind of listening to stuff that I don't normally listen to. But I've got to say, last couple of years, the lo-fi stuff, I love that stuff. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, me, lockdown was, well, I was banging out Centreforce, Fantasy, Cool London, you know, all the stuff that I like. And I've got to say that, you know, a lot of days, if you turn that off, it would have been a very sort of quiet, lonely, you know, situation. Now, even though you're with people as well, that music just kind of creates like a normality when you're not in normality. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, music's always therapy. You know what I mean? Like if you don't feel good, you know what I mean? Like,
it can be like an arm around you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because the thing is, you can hark back to a certain decade or something as well,
yeah,
certain era.
Yeah.
You know, if you listen to tunes from the mid-80s, some soul tune that you remembered you loved so much and you were in a good place, if you're in a bad place now, you listen to that, it takes you back there, you know what I mean? And that's what music does, that's what music does, you know what I mean? And I mean, I'm sure our music does that to people from back in the day as well, you know what I mean? And that, again, couldn't be more happy about that, you know what I mean? Well, this is what we've put out recently, and these are classics.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for everyone's support. We're old schoolers, we don't know, you know, if it's wanted anymore, but obviously it was, because they've done really well. It's nice to see vinyl as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to see vinyl out there, because I'm still predominantly a vinyl DJ, you know. All the old school I play is all on vinyl, because I think it sounds better, it's more authentic. Although digital is the way forward, you know, of course, but, you know, to me you can't beat a bit of vinyl. And these, like I say, thanks for the support.
Yeah, thanks to everyone that bought these, and we were happy to get them out there and get them to a new audience as well, because a lot of new people bought into this, and they are classics.
Yeah,
and
it's surprising how many youngsters come up to us as well when we're out DJing and say, like, they love this, they love that, and I think, well, you weren't even born when we made it.
Yeah.
But they just, you know, it's, I think because this stuff never went commercial, it stayed alive.
Yeah.
I think commerciality sometimes you build a tune up and overkill. But, you know, a lot of the stuff from back in the day never went commercial, stayed underground, and that's why youngsters even like it now, you know? Yeah,
it's timeless as well. I think a lot of the stuff we did is timeless. You know what I mean? You can listen to it in any decade. Yeah.
But yeah, we thought, you know, we had some tunes that we hadn't put out before on a 12. Vinyl's making a bit of a resurgence, so why not?
You know, we've been going through the last couple of years, and, you know, COVID and stuff like that, gave people something they can touch and feel, innit? It's tactile, you know what I mean? And yeah, you can put it on and play it. You can't beat putting a record on and playing it.
So now we're going to bring you the box set, the Anthology. It's basically putting all of our Suburban Base tearing vinyl, not all, but most of them, because otherwise the set will be like that. But all the big hitters, all the foundation tunes from back in the day, if you like, all in one place. You know, so you've got the sub bass, the tearing, the Zodiac, which obviously is quite rare, sought after. Just all in one place, and you know, Krome Time, that's us, you know what I mean?
And there's a few tunes on there that's hard to get anyway, and they cost a lot of money if you're going to buy them on Discogs. So again, yeah, it's just putting all the classics together in beautifully packaged in something that you could keep forever. Do you know what I mean? It's something you're going to want to have. You can put it up on the side. You're going to want to look at it. You're going to want to play them. You know, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, and we sponsor it. We condone it, and we're putting our name to it. So it's not going to be overpriced. You know what I mean? It's going to be affordable, and because we want as many people to get it as possible. Because the people that, especially the people that have those memories, it's kind of like a gift to them to say, listen, you loved all this at the time, and here it is packaged just for you now, you know. And new kids on the block that want to discover something new, they can also get involved, you know what I mean? So yeah. I think it's a win-win all round, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like, I think once the sort of legendary stuff is done, watch this space.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, because we ain't done.
Now, going forward, I mean, I think it's going to be more productions, more DJing from both of us as well, and just try and be inventive again, you know, and get that creative spark back, and
make people happy.
Make people happy.